Story 1. Daylight. A knock at the door woke John. He had fallen asleep in his chair. The dog at his feet barked once, staring at the door. It was late. He glanced at the clock. 12:02. He stayed seated a moment longer, then heard another knock. John groaned, got up, and walked to the door. He looked out the window and saw a small man on his porch as he opened the door. "Good evening," said the old man. Withered and frail, he was a white man with long grey hair bound behind his head. He stared at John with icy blue eyes. "Yeah?" John asked, sleep in his voice. "It's close," the old man said, looking John over. John opened the door fully. "What are you talking about? Who are you?" John asked, sizing him up. The old man nervously rubbed his hands. "It's too close. Best to stay within tonight." "No, seriously, you need to tell me why you're here," John said. "Why some weird-ass white boy is on the res acting like—" The stranger turned toward the forest, cutting John off. "Do not mistake my skin for separation," said the old man, scanning for something unseen. "My people come from lands as old as these." John stood frozen in the doorway, fear braided with curiosity. The man's eyes came back. "This place. The forest," he said low. "Older than tribe. Older than tongue." A silence stretched. "It's bad here, even for bad places." The dog pressed against his leg, whimpering. "Yeah," he said. "Lots of fucked up things have happened out here." The stranger lifted a hand, not to dismiss, just to halt the words. His breath stilled as he listened. Seconds passed. "Older still," he rasped. "Older than any blood spilled. By your hand. By mine." His gaze shifted to the dog who had joined John. "You have a good animal. Keep her close." "Who are you?" John asked quietly. The stranger's eyes fixed on him, yet seemed to look through him. "Just passing through," he said. His tongue flicked his lips. He stepped down into the dark. "Until daylight, stay within." "You best not be coming back here," John called, but his words met only the night. John stepped onto the landing, eyes looking where the stranger had gone. Nothing moved. The dog whined in the doorway, staring into the tree line. The night was wrong. No crickets, no owls, no wind, only the thin whine of his dog. John shivered. He closed and locked the door. Something deep in his marrow told him to be ready. He went to the closet, pulled out the shotgun leaning against old boxes, checked the chamber, and set it beside his chair. He sat, thinking about the stranger. Almost without deciding, he reached for the phone and dialed. 3 rings. "Hello?" "Hey, Dad, it's me." "What's up? It's late." "Yeah, I know. Is everything okay over there?" A pause. "Yeah, why? Something wrong?" "No, it's just—" "You sound spooked. What's up, Johnny?" "There was a guy here. White guy. Older. Maybe a tweaker. Started talking about the forest being old. Really put me off. Thought you should know. Keep an eye out." Silence hummed over the line, his mother's voice in the background. "Was he short? Shorter than you?" "Yeah." "Eyes pale blue?" John's fingers tightened on the receiver. "Yeah." "Hair in a long ponytail?" He sat up straighter, hands sliding toward the shotgun. "Yeah." A long breath. "Is everything locked?" John's gaze swept the room. "I guess. Why? What's going on?" "Double check," his father said. "What are you talk—" "Double check." The edge in his father's voice stopped him cold. John set down the receiver and moved through the double wide, checking each window. Latches secure, back door bolted. The dog whined and went to the bedroom. He returned to the phone. "Yeah, everything's fine. Dad, you gotta tell me, what the fuck's going on?" A breath on the line. "Nothing now, but promise me, don't open the door until it's daylight." Who would be here?" "Anyone," his father said. "Even if it's me knocking, don't open it." Dad, I need an explanation. You're starting to sound like Grandpa." "You remember the stories?" "What stories?" "About the walking things." John's mind went back to childhood campfire tales that kept him awake for nights. "The ghost stories? Please tell me this isn't a fucking joke. That Uncle Dave doesn't have you up to this." Silence. Then his mother's voice, faint but worried. "Listen, best thing you can do is stay put. Don't open the door until daylight, okay? What happens if—" "Don't ask," his father snapped. "I'll be there first thing in the morning. Before that, you wait until His father was cut off. The busy tone filled his ear. John looked at the receiver. "Dad?" he said quickly. "Dad," louder now. Only the busy tone. He tapped the hook, lifted again, tried to dial out. Nothing but that steady, needling tone. He set the receiver down and picked up the shotgun, resting it across his lap. The lights turned every window into black glass. Only his reflection stared back. "Hup, hup!" he called to the dog. A thin whine, then the jingle of tags as she padded down the hallway. She stopped at his feet, stiff, ears back, tail curled tight. "What's the matter, girl? It's okay," he said, mostly for himself. He looked back at the porch, glass showing only his face. He reached down. The dog licked his fingers once, then dropped her head, ears pinned. With a muttered curse, John clicked off the lamp. The room fell into shadow and the black glass gave way to the trees. Something moved. A shoulder in the tree line, a stone's throw from his door. The faint edge of a face, just enough to know it was looking back. It slipped between branches, fluid as water through a crack. Every hair on John's body rose. Human in shape, but wrong. Unclothed, but not naked. Skin pale and smooth like bleached wood. The moonlight sliding over it in a way that turned his stomach. The dog pressed into his leg, trembling, a low growl in her chest. John's grip on the shotgun tightened. He held his breath. The way it walked at the tree line woke something deep in him, ancient and urgent. "Daylight," he breathed like a prayer. Minutes dragged, marked by the slow ticks of the old clock. Morning felt an eternity away. A whimper from the dog, then a thin, restless whine. John looked down. She was rigid. He looked at the door, then at the black glass. Nothing moved. He swallowed and glanced back into the night. Empty. The growl didn't stop. Her nose stayed locked on the door. He shut his eyes, pulled his breath under control. Heartbeat eased. The ticks seemed closer together now, like the night had picked up its pace. "It's okay," he murmured, stroking her head before bringing his hand back to the gun. The growl faded. "It's okay, girl." He stared out, trying to see, hoping he wouldn't. A long breath, shoulders lowering. "We just got till morning, girl," John whispered. He looked down. The space by his feet was empty. John sat up fast. No jingle of tags, no sign she'd left. "Girl," louder now, still under a whisper. He scanned the room. "Come on, girl." Silence, only the clock, only his heart. He stood, thumbed the safety off. "Girl," he said again, low, edged with warning. A tap at the glass behind him. He spun, shotgun low at his hips, aimed at the yard window. Black glass stared back. The sound had come from there. He felt it. A finger slid towards the trigger. "Girl." Another tap, this time from the porch window. His eyes cut to it, but the gun stayed on the yard. No movement. John swallowed and eased a step toward the hallway. His eyes swept the windows. His boot creaked. He backed away, shotgun low but ready. At the hallway entrance, another tap, not from the windows he'd been watching, deeper. He turned down the hall, took another step. Tap. A step. Tap, tap. The sound crawled along the walls. He crept back, pressing the bedroom door open. Darkness inside, lit only by the dim red glow of the alarm clock. "Girl," he said, eyes dropping to the foot of the bed. Empty. He looked up towards the window. Tap, tap, louder now, forceful. His breath trembled. "Daylight," he whispered. Daylight." A whisper, so faint it might have been his own breath, slipped in from the window above the bed. John's lungs locked. The sound had weight, too close, too wet, too much like him. Slowly, he raised the shotgun until the barrel pointed at the black glass, the tree line beyond. Silence. Tap. Tap. Each knock deliberate, spaced like a heartbeat. "Come on, girl," John murmured. Tap, tap. "Girl." The voice came from beyond the window, the word long and wrong. "Girl, daylight." Tap, tap. His grip tightened until his knuckles ached. He opened his mouth, then shut it. The thought of hearing his own words thrown back drained the blood from his face. His legs felt hollow. Tap, tap. He lowered the shotgun and crouched out of view, heart hammering, every inhale too quick. Tap, tap, tap. Each from a different window now, sharper each time, as if whatever made them was closing in on the glass. "It's okay." The whisper slid from behind him, slow and wet, rolling over his spine like ice water. It still sounded beyond the walls, but too close. John waited, perfectly still, finger on the trigger, shotgun pointed at nothing. He drew each breath slowly until his pulse eased. Silence folded back in, and the clock's ticking returned, too loud. Each tick a reminder of how far morning still was. He lowered himself to sit with his back against the end of the hallway. He listened. Nothing. He glanced into the bedroom, searching for girl. No taps, no voice. The stillness began to feel like safety. Daylight, he thought. Just make it to daylight. He closed his eyes briefly, wetting his tongue, then opened them to the hallway's dark. Something sat beside the chair he'd been in earlier, a darker shadow within shadow. He narrowed his eyes. Girl, he whispered. He braced for the echo, for the mockery. Nothing. Girl, he said aloud. A whimper answered. The shape shifted. A faint jingle of tags carried down the hallway. His dog trotted into view and settled in front of him, ears flattened. Oh, thank God, John breathed, lowering the shotgun a fraction. Thank God, the voice repeated, louder now, almost his own tone. Still outside, or maybe not. John's head snapped toward the sound, scanning the space. His pulse still pounded, but the sharp edge of fear dulled. Adrenaline bled out, leaving heat, jaw set, teeth pressed together. Fuck this, John muttered, pushing to his feet. The dog's head rose to follow. He scratched the fur on her neck. Come on, girl. She stood, ears flicking to unseen sounds, eyes fixed on him with a wary look. John dropped any pretense of stealth. Everything was locked. Whatever it was, wasn't coming in. It had rules. He strode down the hallway, boots creaking, and re-entered the living room. From there he swept his gaze across every window, shotgun low but ready. Beyond the glass, nothing moved. So brave, came the whisper, closer now, almost at his ear. He turned, eyes narrowing down the hallway. The dog lay there, ears flat, a thin whimper escaping. Brave, huh? John said, voice steady. That's what you think? He waited. The clock ticked. No answer, just the dog's breath and his heartbeat. Brave, the whisper, oily now, thick and deep. Not from beyond the walls, from beneath him. John's eyes dropped to the worn carpet. His body moved before his mind caught up. A scratch came from directly underfoot. Daylight saves. Daylight shows. The words rolled up through the floorboards, guttural and raw, almost chanted. The dog sprang up, barking at the spot in front of her, legs stiff, body leaning forward, tail low and rigid. Movement beneath him, then silence. Can't get in, can you? He growled, voice cold. He steadied his breathing. The ticking returned. Yes, the voice came again, low, intense. No, sharper. Tapping began from every window. No rhythm, no pattern, just relentless contact. Tap, 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 tap. He spun his gaze from pain to pain. Fear surged. His breath came fast, ragged. The house seemed to shrink. Hands trembled. The shotgun shook. The barking sharpened, but felt farther away. Fingers tingled, then numbed. Vision narrowed. The barrel drooped to the floor. The world dimmed. Pain exploded through his hand. Teeth clamped hard, twisting. He gasped and looked down. Girl had him in her jaws, jerking until he pulled free. She barked up at him, bristling. He fell to the floor, air rushing back into his lungs. No tapping, no voice, just him and girl. He glanced around, then to the throbbing in his hand, skin broken, blood welling in crescent marks. He hissed, welcoming the pain. Come here, girl. She whimpered, ears pinned, but her tail wagged once. It's okay. Thank you, girl. She crept closer, still whining, and he pulled her into his arms. His breath came deep and uneven. Blood dotted his jeans. Good girl, he whispered. The clock ticked. Nothing outside, nothing below. Then, a knock at the door. Not taps on glass, but knuckles on wood. He held still, straining to be sure. Rap, rap, rap. John. The voice froze him, his father's. Rap, rap! John, it's Dad, are you there? Girl went rigid and pulled away. Rap, rap! John, are you okay? Come to the door. The cadence, the timbre, his father, exactly. John turned toward the yard window, pitch black. He braced on the hallway wall and rose. Both hands gripped the shotgun. Girl slunk into the dark, tags jingling. He kept his breathings even, the bite's sting keeping him alert. Rap, rap. You said not to, John said, startling himself. What? His father's voice asked, puzzled. Listen, the voice continued, about what I said. John waited. Dad? He called after a pause. Come to the door, John, the voice said again. weary now, like a man done playing games. "John," it said once more, flat and even. "Daylight won't save you," it finished, dropping far below anything human, the sound thrumming through the wood into his bones. John's mind reeled. He didn't look at the door. "I need to let you in, don't I?" he said. Silence. "Don't I?" More silence, heavier now, as if the whole house held its breath. John glanced back down the hallway. Girl's nose peeked past the bedroom doorway as she whined. He lowered the shotgun to his hips but kept it ready. A breath in, out, another. One last draw of air, then he pivoted into the living room. He swept the room, window by window, just him and the dog. A sigh escaped. He stepped to the door, shotgun in hand, and peered through the top pane of the door. Empty. The clock ticked. The sting in his hand had faded to a dull throb. He can't get in. He walked back to his chair and sat. The shotgun rested across his lap as he looked outside. John froze. Red eyes met his. Small, piercing, eyes without a face lit from within. They hung in the air, fixed where the old white man had stood, but higher than any man could stand. Adrenaline surged. Every muscle screamed to move, and he resisted. He swallowed. "You can't get in," he said quietly, sure the words would reach. The eyes dipped, then rose. "What do you want?" Girl whimpered from the hallway. The reply came soft and slow, drawn in with its breath. "I do not want." John's skin rippled, every hair stood. "Then why are you here?" The eyes tilted, unnervingly steady. "I need..." The whisper stretched, trembling in his bones. Adrenaline roared, churning his stomach. He swallowed, pinning the tension in place. "My father knows about you, doesn't he? The old man who was here. He did too." A long pause. The eyes stayed. "All know me," the whisper said, smooth as glass and just as cutting. "What are you?" John asked, steady but defiant. No answer. The stillness pressed in, heavy as the dark. He glanced at the clock, second hand ticking on, then back outside. The eyes were gone. "Fuck," John muttered, scanning the windows. "Girl?" he called down the hallway. "Nothing." "Come on, girl." Weariness edged his voice. "Please, come here." No reply. Adrenaline bled away, leaving him heavy-limbed, eyelids thick. He sat, shotgun across his lap, head against the chair. His finger slipped from the trigger guard. One slow sweep of the windows. The clock ticked. He thumbed the safety on, closed his eyes. From deep in the forest came a pealing screech, sharp, alien, dangerous. It rose and fell, curling in strange inflections, ending in a guttural chuff. Silence. John listened, the desperate cry of a desperate thing. His breathing slowed. He dozed off. Banging at the door woke him. "John, it's me, Dad. Open up!" Urgency in the voice. John jerked upright. The shotgun slid to the floor with a dull thud. Through the glass, daylight, pink and thin, cresting the trees. John drew a long breath. Knocking again. "Daylight," he sighed. He stood and glanced down the hallway. Girl's nose peeked out. A deep breath. Finally. He crossed to the door and set his hand on the knob. Girl whimpered. He swung the door open. In the pre-dawn light, red eyes stared back, small, piercing, lit from within. Eyes older than tribe, older than tongue. Story 2. Night of the Dreamers. I haven't slept since I was 13 years old. Having a few extra hours in the day or night might sound nice, but there's a toll to your brain never having to slow down and shut up. Your eyes burn from too many hours under the city's neon holograms. I could drown in coffee without feeling fresh. Work and music keep me sane. I still get tired, but only collapse now and then. Being too exhausted to go out with friends in the narrow windows between shifts saves money, at least. Eventually, they stop asking. I've always felt my talent has been more of a curse than a gift. Until the night of the Dreamers. I envied the people with brain chips to do most of their thinking for them, bought at a discount for the simple price of selling their dream space to ad companies. Called the Dream Machine by its corporate creators, it was supposed to be a comprehensive language learning algorithm that would embed advertisements during sleep, so deep into the subconscious the consumer would think they were totally original thoughts when they woke. But the Dream Machine was corrupted by a virus, creator unknown. And along came the Nightmare program.
Sir,
On the night of the dreamers, I walked from my second job to my third, slurping up to-go noodles with music blasting in my ear implants. Some cities boast that they never sleep, but in my experience, right around 4 a.m., things are as dead as a corpse, save for the criminal element. I don't pay mind to the distant sirens, something bad happening to someone else, somewhere else. No one on the street, just me, until it isn't. The current fashion trend is hollow masks. Change your style at a whim. So when the dreamers charge at you, their head is wrapped in a display coming straight from their dreaming mind. Sometimes it's just colors. For others, an entire scene plays out, with moving portraits of elongated figures. But the worst of all is when you actually see a face, with two big eyes, skin like wet paper and rotting teeth. The first dreamer I see has a clock for a face. The arms spin around the circle in a blur. It chases a woman whose only holographic adornment is a pair of purple cat ears. The horror in her eyes is all her own. I don't know what this is at first. The smart move would have been to start running myself. Instead, I throw the noodles. 7 years without sleep does things to you. The girl ducks, and the noodles hit the dreamer. The noodles only slap across the poor sap's body. The trash can I throw next manages to knock the dreamer off its feet. In retrospect, I should have led with that. I wonder for a second if I've been alone too long and started hallucinating. Then the dreamer pack spills out onto the street. The only faces I pick out are the floating stack of money, a bright blue flame, and a foaming canine maw. My body's fight or flight decides it's real enough. I fall in beside the cat-eared girl and we run. She opens her mouth, but before she speaks, I say, "What did you do to make them mad?" "Me?" Cat ears balks. "I couldn't sleep because my AC broke. Next thing I know, the neighbors are breaking down the doors and they look like that." She flicks a thumb over her shoulder. Emergency alerts flash in the corner of my vision. Unprompted attacks all over the city. Details unclear. Many city officials are unreachable. Seek shelter. She taps the chip linker behind her ear, and I can tell she's seen the same. The street ahead has the din of disaster. Driverless cars swerve and crash, avoiding the dreamers flooding the street. The panicking conscious folk are set upon by the dreamers. After being knocked out or choked out, they rise as new dreamers, an army of the unwoken, dragging others kicking and screaming into their realm. We don't stop. "You know a place to hide?" I ask. She shook her head, wiping it of sweat. "Work from home, software dev. Load of help, that is." She scowls. 7 years without sleep. You'd be irritable too. "I know a place," I say. "Energy drink bottling line. Just ended my shift there. Big warehouse, metal doors. Should be able to wait whatever this is out." I take a shortcut through a holographic soda ad. Into the alleyway behind. Our pack of dreamers follow. They don't snarl or scream. Their pursuit is too quiet. We're out onto a narrow street at the end of which waits the warehouse. An enemy stands in the way. One dreamer ahead, too many behind. I close shaking hands into fists. I'm not much of a fighter. "Shut your eyes on my cue," Katia says. "Why?" I'm almost upon the dreamer at the door. He's got a face like a broken mirror, reflecting twisted features. He's moving to meet me. "I can overclock my holomask's brightness, and you don't want to die, that's why. Now," Katia's orders. I shut my eyes. Something flashes beyond my lids. I open to the image of the dreamer stumbling aimlessly. I body check him to the ground and slap my wristband into the door panel. It opens inward. Katia's and I slide in. I slam the door behind and lock it. The dreamers beat the door like it owes them money. The thrum of their thrashing overpowers the whining machine sounds behind. I turn around to find that Bruce, the only man to show up for third shift, fell asleep on the job. He stands halfway down the warehouse, his face a fearsome machine of swinging servos and tubes spitting out glowing liquid. Poor guy even dreams about this place. He's got a beefy body and a metal forearm multi-tool. Had to be the shop mechanic. He turns towards us. "Want to try your trick again?" I ask. She nods. "Shut your blinkers." I shut them and there's another flash. Bruce advances, unfazed. Must have worn his welding goggles to hide his sleeping. Despite the factory heat, I'm chilled. We're trapped. "Crap," Katia says. "I'm not much of a fighter. Think we can take him?" I laugh. "No, but you're a coder and this seems connected to holomasks. Any idea what's making people act like this? If there's a way to stop it before he creams us." She tilts her head. "Holomasks are managed by chip linkers." She taps her own on the back of her ear. "And the linker operating system does most of the work interfacing with our brain implants. Smart money is on the problem starting there. If we remove his linker, I might shut him down." "Software developer," she says with a prideful chin uptick. Might be a load of good after all. I laugh with a touch of hysteria. Might be. Bruce weaves around machines that fill cans with green liquid from a vat of the stuff suspended from a network of catwalks above. He prowls like a grizzly. If I distract him, I say, do you think you can come up behind him and pull out the linker? She looks ill at the idea, but she doesn't lack mettle and nods. Up the catwalk now! She sprints up the stairs as I grab a can off the line and throw it. Bruce slaps it, spraying syrupy liquid onto a machine. I grab 2 more cans as I dash up the stairs. When Bruce follows, I roll the cans down the stairs. He trips on one, and I make the catwalk with a head start. The metal grating makes a circle around the vat of green liquid, which is open. Must have planned a servicing. I race to the platform leading in above the vat and snatch the one weapon available, a 2-meter-long stirring stick. I make it back to the catwalk circle as Bruce closes in. I hold nothing back as I swing the stick. Bruce, monster that he is, blocks it with his metal arm, grabs hold with his meat hand, and tries to wrench it out of my grip. I barely keep hold. Bruce unfolds a pipe cutter from his metal hand and snaps the pole in 2. I back away with my half and he advances, raising his. We both swing. When the poles connect, the impact feels like it'll shake my tendons from my bones. But the machine in place of Bruce's face churns on, unimpressed. His next swing knocks my pole from my grip, clattering off the catwalk to be chewed up in machinery. On the 3rd swing, his pole collides with my skull and I go down seeing stars. For a blissful moment, everything starts to go dark. Maybe this was enough. Maybe I can finally sleep. Then, like I've been shocked, my vision clears and I'm up gasping. I remain a stranger to Sandman. Bruce pulls back to try again, but Cat Ears has circled around behind him. True to her nickname, she pounces on his back, clawing at his ear. Her hand comes away with his linker, and his hollow mask vanishes, leaving his slack, goggled face. I meet eyes with Cat Ears. We think we've won. But then Bruce swings the girl off his back with all the emotion and effort of swatting a bug. The railing clangs as her head hits it on her way down. Cat Ears' guess was half right, just not the right half. I scramble to my feet, trying to drag her with me. At first she's limp, but then her hands hold on to me with rising strength. Come on, we gotta go for the back door. Her cat ears disappear right as her hands begin to close around my throat. The holomask becomes a figure of a girl huddling alone in a small burning room. Cat Ears was knocked out by that blow to the head, and now she's joined the Dreamers. Despair pulls at my guts like gravity. Couldn't save her, probably can't save myself. For a shameful moment I envy her. She gets to rest. But while I want to fall and give up, I've felt like that for years, and it hasn't stopped me yet. I swing my arms down, breaking her grip before I lose too much air. Bruce pushes past her and I flee. Feet rattle the metal grating behind, drawing closer with every spent breath. My brain is still hazy from beating, but I know I need to circle back around the catwalk to get to the stairs. I consider jumping, but the flexing machines might do worse than the Dreamers. Too late, I notice Cat Ears ahead. She's doubled back to cut me off, her fiery face ahead and Bruce's bulk behind. I'm corralled into a corner, the platform dangling over the vat. I kick out as I retreat, but fail to stall them. My lower back hits the safety railing, end of the line, but it's narrow enough they can't both rush me. I throw a haymaker at Bruce's face and he blocks it with the metal hand. I think something breaks, but pain is dull behind the adrenaline. He grabs for my neck, but I dodge. Then he wraps me up in a bear hug, which I don't dodge. He smells of sweat, whiskey, and overwork. My joints pop and my heart hammers. Cat Ears crawls up his back and wraps her fingers around my throat again. I knee Bruce in the ribs, then the groin, but pain is far from him. Trying to push away gets me thrown back against the railing. I want to scream, but I can't get any air out. I see spots, but don't pass out. Perhaps because of my condition, I'll remain conscious right up until the moment of brain death. I look around for any item of salvation, but there is just metal grating, machines below, and the energy drink pool behind. Somehow I knew I'd die at work. I stare at Cat Ears' hollow mask as I get lightheaded. It's a pretty enough image to die to. The silhouetted girl in a room of vibrant flames. I'm reminded of her broken AC. She still hasn't really had much chance to cool down. It's a sick joke to now die of the closeness to others that so long eluded me. But the last cohesive thought of a dying brain fights to be heard. Cool down. I grab hold of my attackers as they grip me. I try to push away again and again. I'm thrown backwards, but this time as I'm pushed, I kick off the grating and swing myself over the railing, dragging Bruce and Cat Ears with me. We fall, and I wonder if I'll make it to the bottom. Time slows when you're being choked to death. We plunge under the green surface, wreathed in bubbles of carbonation. My eyes burn almost as bad as my lungs. Everyone's grip breaks. I kick away and barely have the breath to swim to the surface. When I do, I'm gulping the stale factory air like it's sweet as sugar. Speaking of sugar, I'm covered in the highest legal limit of the stuff you can put in a drink sold to minors. Can't believe it saved my life. As two heads burst past the surface, I throw up both hands to fight, albeit awkward while floating. But Bruce and Cat Ears aren't coming after me. They're gasping, eyes whirling around like they don't know where they are or how they got there. Cat Ears has her cat ears back. What? How? She sees me and blinks, then widens her eyes. You woke us up. Not sure if it was the fall, the plunge, or both that did it, but I'm grateful for once that I work here. I laugh. Got to be the most good energy drinks have ever done for me. What happened? And why does my crotch feel like someone took a hammer to it? Bruce groans. Sorry about that, I say. We know how to stop this now, Cat Ears says. We just got to find a way to wake people up. I hear the distant banging on the entry door, helpless people breaking their hands or arms, driven to do so. I probably would have been content to stay safe and wait the nightmare out, but the look in her eyes says she wouldn't dream of such a thing. She's better than me. Not sure how easily we can lead the pack up here, I say. Bruce, can you hook up the pump and water hose for cleaning out the vat? The man is still confused, but nods. Cat Ears looks at me in silent question. You want to help those people, Cat Ears? Let's see if fire hosing the lot wakes them up. Kayla, she says. My name is Kayla. Ah, right, I'm Ray. Nice to meet you, Ray. And with a grin, she adds, it's cold in here. Duh. You can't sleep, Kayla says with wide eyes. Ever? I can't sleep. Ever, I confirm. At 13, I went in to get my first brain chip. Turns out that particular model had a pretty severe defect. It malfunctioned the first time they turned it on. Doesn't work at all as a normal chip, but it does keep my brain running 24/7 with electric stimuli. Too risky to remove it, might fry me on its way out. It's hours later and the three of us sit in adjacent hospital beds in an overstuffed ward. A nurse bot is already putting Bruce under to factory reset his brain chip, the only real way to eliminate the corrupted code. His limbs are restrained. After 7 years, I'm surprised you're sane, Kayla says. It's a near thing sometimes. What's it feel like? Like a race where you never get to the finish line. She winces with sympathy, and no working brain chip either. After tonight, don't think I'm missing out. Her head dips in an almost nod. You know, I used to draw cats when I was a kid, but chips just make it so easy to generate an image straight from your thoughts. I've thought, it'd be nice to dream my own dreams and draw with my own hand. Maybe after all this, I'll have them take my chip out. She says it like it's a joke, but her eyes tell the truth. There's a commotion deeper in the hospital, probably the cops bringing in another batch of dreamers to be reset. The crisis isn't completely over yet. I see the anxiety and the tensing of her shoulders. I feel plenty of it myself. I have a favor to ask, she says. Could you be here when I wake up? Her cheeks get rosy from the request, but I'm the one who's embarrassed. It feels frightfully long since someone wanted me around. My condition isn't good for much, but I can keep watch. I nod. I'll be here. Thanks. There are some people that can look past the baggy eyes and irritable attitude. The nurse bot approaches Kayla. I slide off my bed so they don't charge me and sink down into a visitor's chair. I don't put on music. I just sit, and some of the tightness leaves my muscles. What a day. I decide working myself to death to not think about my lousy lot isn't the answer. I could at least stand to take on less hours. Drag myself out to see people sometimes. An alert in the corner of my eye tells me my next shift starts in 5 minutes. I turn it off. Good night, Kayla mumbles as the nurse bot plugs into her linker port. The girl's eyes close. I hope you'll forgive dark humor because I replied with, sweet dreams.